You know that phone in your pocket? Every single time you send a text or watch a video, it's running a secret code. And the craziest part? This code wasn't dreamed up in some tech lab in Silicon Valley. Nope. It was actually discovered over a century ago by this incredibly brilliant and kind of mysterious math genius. Okay, so here's a weird question for you. What on earth could a giant supercomputer, I'm talking a machine that fills a whole room, built to crack the universe's biggest secrets, what could that possibly have in common with, say, your private messages on your phone? They seem like polar opposites, right? Well, the answer is kind of cool. It's like there's a ghost in the machine, a mathematical ghost, a set of ideas so powerful they pretty much haunt every single piece of tech we use today. And don't worry, this isn't a spooky ghost. It's the brilliant work of just one guy. And that guy's name was Srinivasa Ramanujan. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, a dusty old historical figure. But nope, scratch that. For the next few minutes, we're going to see him for who he really is, the secret architect behind our entire digital lives. So how did he do it? How did he become this secret architect? Well, it all started with a puzzle that sounds super simple at first. It's basically about counting. How many different ways can you put something together? Not with just a few Lego bricks, but with, like, an infinite supply. This is where Ramanujan jumped in. Okay, the official math term is integer partition. Sounds complicated, but it's really not. It's just a fancy way of asking, how many different ways can you add up whole numbers to get to another number? You know, the target number. Mathematicians call this P of n, where n is your target. Let's make this super simple. Take the number 4. How many ways can you make 4 by adding? Well, there's just 4. Or you could do 3 plus 1, or 2 plus 2, or 2 plus 1 plus 1. And finally, the really boring way, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. That's it, 5 ways. So we'd say P of 4 is 5. Easy, right? Okay, but hold on. Watch what happens when we just bump that number up to 10. The number of ways to make it doesn't just go up a little bit. It explodes from 5 all the way to 42. All of a sudden, trying to count those by hand is, well, it's a real pain. So then, what about P of 100? I mean, forget about it. The number of possibilities just goes ballistic. It grows exponentially. It becomes so huge you literally can't count them all. It's a total non-starter. And get this, before Ramanujan came along, the only way to figure it out was to first find the answer for every single number from 1 all the way up to 99. Insane, right? So what did Ramanujan do? He basically created a cheat code, a formula that lets you just jump straight to the answer for any number without all that grinding. And why should you care? Well, it turns out that being able to count combinations really efficiently is absolutely crucial for the tech we use every day. It's used for things like figuring out how computer servers should manage their memory, for making sorting algorithms faster. And it's even one of the foundational ideas behind modern cryptography, the stuff that keeps your messages safe. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk about pi. Yeah, that pi. 3.14159, the number that never ends. For literally centuries, mathematicians were in this huge race to calculate more and more digits of it. And then Ramanujan comes along and just completely changes the game, and his method is so powerful, we actually use it today to stress test the biggest, baddest computers on the planet. Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. Before Ramanujan, the formulas for pi were just painfully slow. You'd have to do hundreds of calculations just to get a few more measly digits. But his formula, it looked completely bizarre, totally wild, but it was like a spaceship hitting hyperdrive. For every one step you take in his formula, it spits out 8 new, perfect decimal places of pi. It's just unbelievably efficient. Now, because this is so efficient, but also so incredibly intense for a computer to calculate, it's become the ultimate stress test. It's the gold standard. When a company like Google or Amazon builds a brand new supercomputer, one of the first things they do is make it run algorithms based on Ramanujan's work. They're trying to push the CPU, the memory, the whole system to its absolute limit. The thinking is, if a machine can survive calculating pi this way, it can survive pretty much anything. Okay, so Ramanujan didn't just find shortcuts. He also found this beautiful hidden order in things that look like total chaos. You know those Russian nesting dolls, right? Where you open one up and there's a smaller one inside and a smaller one inside that? Okay, now picture that, but as a number. This crazy thing is called a continued fraction. You start with a fraction, but then inside its denominator, there's another fraction. And inside that one's denominator, there's another one, and it just keeps going forever.
It's this number that literally folds into itself over and over. It looks like a complete mess, right? But Ramanujan saw that this was actually a super elegant, super useful way to deal with certain messy kinds of numbers. And this isn't just some weird math curiosity. No way. This idea is absolutely essential for what's called digital signal processing. Think about it. When your phone is trying to process audio or video, it's getting all these messy, complicated waves from the real world. Well, continued fractions are the perfect tool to take those messy signals and turn them into nice, simple approximations that a computer can actually understand and work with.
All right, time for the last piece of the puzzle. And this one starts with a famous story about a single number. A number that, at first glance, just looks like a fun little party trick. But hiding inside it is the secret that basically works as a bodyguard for all of your private data online. The number is 1,729. 1729. Just look at it. Seems kind of random, right? Pretty boring. But to a guy like Ramanujan, who saw numbers in a way nobody else did, this one was special. It held a really beautiful secret. And here's the secret. 1729 is the smallest possible number that can be made by adding two cubed numbers together in two completely different ways. Check it out. 10 cubed plus 9 cubed is 1729. But also 12 cubed plus 1 cubed also equals 1729. It's like a perfect little piece of number magic. But this is way more than just a party trick. This kind of puzzle, where you're exploring the really deep hidden properties of numbers, is a whole field of math called number theory. And it turns out that the entire idea behind modern encryption is creating math problems that are super easy to check if you have the answer, but almost impossible to solve from scratch. Ramanujan's deep dives into this stuff laid the foundation for what we now call elliptic curve cryptography, or ECC. And that is the lock on everything. It protects secure websites, it encrypts your private messages, it secures the blockchain. That bodyguard for your data, it's a direct descendant of Ramanujan's number games. So when you step back and look at all this stuff together, you just have to wonder, how? How did one person, a guy with very little formal training, come up with all of this? The only way to really explain it is that his brain was just running on a totally different operating system than the rest of us. You know, for most people, math is a very logical step-by-step thing. You do step A, then step B, then C. But people who knew Ramanujan said it wasn't like that for him at all. It was like he could just bypass all the steps and instantly see the final answer, the final pattern. He didn't have to follow the trail of breadcrumbs. He just knew where the treasure was buried. And that leaves us with one last really big question. When Ramanujan was doing all this, was he just a genius at finding patterns? Or was he seeing something much, much deeper? Was he, in his own incredible way, actually reading the universe's source code? Something to think about the next time you unlock your phone.